Good morning. This is an important run today. I'm doing my matchup of the Adidas Adios Pro 3 and the Nike Alphafly 3. So I have it narrowed down to these two shoes for what's going to be my marathon shoe coming up in just under a month now, the next race I'm running. I've run 2 marathons in the Adios Pro 3. They actually have 2 of the world majors done under that one shoe. The New York City Marathon in 2022 and the Chicago Marathon last year in 2024. So right now I'm wearing the newer pair that I have that I got for the Chicago Marathon. So right now I plan on doing a warm-up, try and run about 5 miles at marathon goal pace. Then I'm going to put one shoe on each foot and running them together for a little bit. And then I'm going to do 5 miles at marathon goal pace in the Alphafly, and then maybe a cool down after that just to see how both shoes feel at my marathon goal pace and running a little bit slower. So we'll see how this matchup goes today. So I'm just over 3.5 miles in. I just kind of skipped the warm-up and went right to marathon goal pace. These shoes are capable of it. These to me are like coming home to an old friend. I just love these shoes. They're so smooth. They have just the right amount of rebound. I don't sink into them too much. They're cushioned enough without being too squishy. They have enough firmness that they're still propulsive. They're just a great shoe. I also majorly overdressed for this part of the run. It said it was 40 degrees, feeling like 30, maybe raining with 12 to 25 mile an hour winds. I haven't had any wind. It's not raining. The sun's coming out. So I think when I go home and switch shoes, I'm gonna wear some lighter weight gear as well. Okay, now that was great. 5 miles down. I did it in 36:19. So I was averaging 7:15 mile pace. My goal marathon pace is 7:37 for a sub 320. So I was significantly under my goal pace and I feel great right now. I just feel like I had a nice long warm up, and the last mile I ran a 6:46. So I'm like absolutely crushing my goal pace right now. And I feel fresh right now. That did not feel like a difficult 5 miles. Also, the route that I run on is actually pretty hilly and undulating, and I handled that no problem. So it's actually kind of interesting because last week I really didn't run that much. I kind of fell off my training plan, got really busy. I had long days at work, had to drop my kids off to school early, so I wasn't able to squeeze in the long runs like my plan was calling for. But maybe that was an unintended little bit of an early taper that helped me absorb some of that other fitness. So this will also be a very good test for the Alphafly now, because I should be running on tireder legs. I went out harder than I should have. So this would be like if you started a marathon too fast, what's going to happen in the second half. So right now I'm going to try both shoes on and run for a little bit, and then try and replicate that same route in the Alphafly 3 and see how they feel. Okay, I did the tennis player change over there. I changed my shirt and my hat, took my gloves off. It's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. So right now I'm wearing both shoes. I'm gonna run for a little bit in both just to compare them head to head, and then take the Alphafly out. to be honest, running with one on each foot, I don't feel like a massive difference between the shoes. What I'm really feeling is the Adidas shoe still feels more natural, feels more smooth because it's just that one piece midsole. The Alphafly is connected now, but it still does have those air pods that are a different density than the rest of the midsole. So I do still feel that little bit firmer section right under the ball of my foot when I'm running in them. But actually just turning them over felt very similar. So now I'm gonna have to actually do that full run in the Alphafly and see how they feel and compare over multiple miles. But just having one on one foot, I feel like the Adidas feels more natural, but the two shoes propulsion wise feel pretty similar. All right, having one shoe on each foot, I was fooled a little bit into thinking that they felt kind of the same. Once you have two Alphaflys on, definitely not the same. First mile, I think I did like a 7:19 or a 7:20, so still under my goal pace. But man, does running in these feel different than the Adios Pro 3. Adios Pro 3, way more natural and smooth. I feel like it's more consistent along the entire midsole, the compression and bounce that you get from it. I also feel like I can turn those shoes over better because they're for that same reason, they're more consistent. They just feel more natural as you're going through your stride. So I think if I wanted to run as fast as I absolutely could, it would definitely be the Adios Pro 3 over the Alphafly. However, when you're running a marathon, you're not trying to run as fast as you absolutely can, unless you're Kipchoge or some crazy elite person. Most of us slow down a bit when you're trying to make it 26.2 miles. So efficiency is what it's all about with the marathon shoe. Comfort and efficiency. Does it help you to maintain that pace while keeping a lower heart rate, keeping you going for that distance of a run? So I feel like the AirPods are definitely more compressive than Light Strike Pro. I'm sinking in more to the Alphafly, which again slows me down compared to crossing the street here. Slows me down compared to the Adios Pro 3. If I was trying to run short or trying to run fast, I think the Adios Pro 3 would definitely have an advantage over the Alphafly. However, the sink in is also resulting in a lot of rebound. So it has more of a bounding effect where it feels more cruisy. So I'm gonna get the rest of these miles in and see how these treat me over multiple miles. But I feel like it might actually be easier in the Alphafly to maintain that pace once you get into it, to just kind of let the shoe help you bounce along and maintain that kind of consistent, steady effort is what it's better at. So I don't think it's as quick, I don't think it's as nimble, but it may be better suited for that steady effort type of run. So let's see. Well, damn it, this run is actually making things more difficult for me. I just ran like 7:17, 7:19, I think another something right around there. I'll get the exact at the end of the run, but I'm barely even looking at my watch. I'm just kind of dialing in what feels good running steady, and I'm just consistently ticking off faster than my marathon goal pace without putting in a lot of effort. So these shoes are really efficient. But I am 100% feeling those AirPods. It's such a different feeling than the Adios Pro 3. It feels much more mechanical, but then also I feel like I'm getting a lot of mechanical assistance where I'm really not having to try that hard and I'm getting good results. So that's actually really useful over the course of a marathon. If I don't have to run as hard, but I'm going just as fast, that's a recipe to get a personal best, if you can conserve your energy and still put down good times. So performance-wise, the Alphafly is doing a great job. It feels much less natural, less comfortable, more alien to me, but it's getting results. So which shoe should I use for the marathon? You tell me in the comments. I'm also thinking about this almost like a relationship. Basically, I would marry the Adios Pro 3. We've had a relationship for years. Everything's gone really well. It's stable, it's reliable, it takes care of me. I know I can trust it. So if I bring that shoe out for another marathon, I know I'm gonna perform well. But this one's kind of a wild card right now. This would be like if you had your celebrity crush. Say you're not in a committed relationship, so you're not cheating or anything, but you meet your celebrity crush out at a restaurant or wherever, and you could have an amazing day with them. You don't know that much about them. You can't necessarily trust them, but you might have the best day ever. And that's kind of the thing with a marathon shoe. This shoe only has to be good to me for a little more than 3 hours. I'm hoping for sub 320, so just don't break my heart for 3 hours and 20 minutes, and it'll be well worth it. Or should I go to that shoe that I've had a long committed relationship with, that I know is a consistent performer? So that's kind of the debacle that I'm in right now. I just thought of an even better one. I love the movie The Sandlot, and one of the most famous scenes from that is the kid with the glasses, Squints, is in love with the lifeguard at the pool, Wendy Peppercorn. And there she is every summer, lotioning, oiling, lotioning, and at one point he just can't take it anymore, so he jumps off the diving board and pretends to drown so that she'll save him and he'll get a chance to kiss her. So I don't know, the Alphafly is kind of like the Wendy Peppercorn running shoe right now. Do I jump off the deep end and give it a shot, or is it worth it? Although at the end of that movie, they end up getting married and having 8 kids, and they own the drugstore that they buy the baseballs from. So things worked out for Squints. He had kissed a woman, and he had kissed her long and good. One issue, I am still having that rubbing on my right heel a little bit. You're killing me, Smalls, with this rubbing. All right, I'm feeling a little bit better about my week with last running. The training montage from Rocky IV came on during that last mile. So I just ran up the mountain in Russia, planted my flag at the top. Yo, Adrian, I did it. So I ran a 6:38 for mile 9, and I still feel fresh. So I'm feeling good that at least I didn't lose the fitness that I built up. Keep working at it. My playlist was killing it today. I made like a playlist with all like 80s rock and like power ballad metal kind of stuff. And then the last song was the actual Rocky theme. So that was just awesome. I'm like, yes, as I finished the last mile. And I think I ran the last mile like 6:21 or something like that. It was probably the fastest mile of the whole run. So basically, what was supposed to be a marathon goal pace run today turned into a 10-mile tempo run, which, you know what, I'm all right with that because I need to make up for some of the runs I missed last week. But this shoe also, the Alphafly, becomes more stable the faster you run in it. It spends less time on the ground, and you really do get an explosive bounce from those AirPods. I think this is definitely a more efficient shoe than the Adios Pro 3. I feel really good right now. That was a good run. So again, let me know in the comments, what shoe do you think I should wear? I remember, as Babe Ruth said to Benny the Jet Rodriguez during The Sandlot, that heroes get remembered. I can't get the quote right. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Believe in your heart, kid. You'll never go wrong.
So the Adios Pro 3 or the Alphafly 3? That run actually kind of just made things more difficult for me, because basically I'll put some statistics from the run up now. I did 5 miles in each shoe. I was attempting initially to run my goal pace, but I just ended up running faster than that, and I'm like, all right, let me just go with it. So I was kind of just running what felt comfortable in the shoe. Then when I got to the end, the 5th mile in this shoe, I pushed it a little bit because I knew I was going to be done and then switching shoes. So I'm like, let me just give it my all for this last little bit here. And then I switched to the Alphafly, which again immediately felt easier to run fast in. This shoe feels faster. This shoe feels easier to run fast in, if that makes sense. So I had some better times in this one. I think I ended up averaging 7:06 for the full run, where my goal pace is 7:37, so I was significantly under that. I had a couple miles in the 6s in this shoe at the end, and it felt absolutely great. At that point, I just felt all warmed up. I had endorphins going. I just felt great and was just crushing it in the Alphafly. But cautionary tale, show you a picture here. I got that blister again on my right heel, which is actually bothering me again today. That was like 2 days ago. So I've been putting a Band-Aid over it when I'm wearing shoes. Gave me a pretty bad blister on my right heel, and I also have a blister on my left heel from wearing this shoe. Now, I did actually put a Band-Aid on my heel to try and stop that from happening, but it happened anyway. I needed probably 2 Band-Aids, or I needed to put it in a better place. I missed the placement. As I mentioned before with this shoe, the heel counter is firm right here, and this is where it's rubbing. This piece right here is very firm, so right where this end ends, this was going against the back of my heel and rubbing and causing that blister. So the top of the heel is floppy, but this bottom part being stiff. I've done 2 runs in this shoe, 5 miles each time, and I've gotten that same rubbing each time. So that's really my only thing that I'm worried about with this one, is if every time I wear this shoe I get a blister. If I run 3+ hours in them, I'm definitely going to get a blister. So I'm going to try it, another time or two and see if I can get through a run without this giving me a blister. Also, durability wise, I am seeing a little bit more scuffing on the outsole here. It's still holding up all right. This shoe is about 1.2 ounces lighter than this one, so it's a little bit lighter. You don't really feel that difference though. They're pretty comparable as far as weight goes. I was actually very surprised on that run by how fast I was able to run in this shoe and how easy it felt to run that speed. So I was running faster than my marathon goal pace, and it felt great the whole time. So I was definitely getting a lot of efficiency from the shoe. My only problem with it, as I mentioned before, is that rubbing that I'm getting in the heel. I really don't want to be halfway through a marathon and having my heel be killing me and kind of, limping to the finish line. So that's really a problem that I have to sort out. I've run 2 marathons in this shoe, between my 2 versions of it. I've run over 200 miles in this shoe, so I know how it performs for me. I know it's not going to give me a blister. I know it's going to perform on race day. This one I got 10 miles in. It's giving me a blister both times. So that's really my only problem, is this one I know it's going to work for me. This one I know it's going to give me the efficiency and feel really good, but is it also going to injure me in the process? So that's the problem that I have at the moment. So let me know in the comments what you think I should do. At this point, I'm going to say that the verdict is still out. I haven't made a decision. Right now, the conservative side of me says use this one. Don't screw it up. Just get that race in and don't take the chance. But then the other side of me says, you know what? You might set a new personal best with this shoe. It might be amazing. So I'm kind of up in the air right now. So I'm going to run in them again. I got to give this one another shot and see if I put a couple Band-Aids, cover my entire heel to prevent that rubbing from happening. If I can get through a run and continue to get that performance and not have that issue, this is the way I'm going to lean for the marathon. But I think other than a marathon, I would pick this shoe for everything. So just ranking them overall, I still like this one better, but this one's really impressing me and I want to use it for the marathon. I'm just concerned about that one issue. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.